names and faces together. Because a lot of you I might see your names on an email, but quite often it's nice to meet in person to be able to explain the project a bit further, which I have the opportunity to do today. A little bit about us. We are part of Voluntary Action Maidstone, but we are at the moment receiving our funding from Kent County Council. But that money comes into Voluntary Action Maidstone and the project is run and managed within the organisation. What are we? We're a partnership project with KCC and the rest of the voluntary sector across Kent. And our core function is to basically match volunteers with event organisers who are looking for people that are interested in just helping off in a one-off basis. So it may be that you're a charity that organises a bride and needs volunteers to help out just on the day. It may be that you're organising a fun day for something. It may be that you're an arts company that needs volunteers for your theatre performances. Any of those kinds of things, under the not-for-profit umbrella, we can get involved in. Anything that comes under the sport, arts, leisure and culture field. We have done a lot of work that is around the 2012 side of things as well, which I'll briefly touch on a bit later. Just a little bit about us. That statistic of 1,775 has now just gone over the 1,800 mark. Been a very successful day at University Freshers' Fair the other day. So we're recruiting volunteers on a daily basis, 40 on that day. We currently work with over 100 organisations around Kent, and that increases on a day-by-day basis. And so far, we've worked on 140 events across the county. Since January 2011, we did a quick tot-up because we're just introducing some volunteering awards for the number of hours that they commit. So far, we've committed over 1,000 hours of time to events that are happening across Kent. Now that might not seem very much, but when you talk about events that sometimes are only 2 hours in duration or can be a whole day in duration, it's not the same amount of time as would be accumulated if they're working for you every week. And for all of our work, we've been operational since May 2008. Last year we were awarded the London 2012 Inspire Mark, which is sort of a recognition for being excellent in our field. Now what do we do about getting our message out there? How do we get people to hear about us? How do we get volunteers involved? How do organisations find out about us? How do we impact everything? The first stage, once the project was up and running, which took a good couple of months, was to set up a website. Now, believe me, I'm by no means an advanced techie, so setting up a website was not something I was willing to do. So we engaged a partner to do that for us. And hopefully, a lot of you will have started to have seen our website, and sort of a screenshot of it is up there. It served really well as our frontline portal for anyone that had the internet. We were able to direct a lot of people there for their first point of contact with us in many cases, because we worked across the whole of Kent. So the feasibility of being able to speak to everybody in person when you're talking about 1,800 volunteers was just not practical. Our website address is there. It's kenteventteam.org.uk. It's got all the basic information about our project. Everything that we basically had in a printed brochure is now on the online version. Volunteers and organisations can register with us online. We've simplified some way of our forms, so there's not so much information that needs to be added. They are going to be simplified further, some of you will be pleased to know. And all of the events information, the kind of events calendar if you like, is all available on the website as well. So if someone's interested in the range of things we do, it proves very quick and easy to point them in that direction. Some of you, I know, don't have your own websites. One of the things that was kind of suggested to me to mention to you today was that, I don't know how many of you use Google as your search engine. If you put in, for example, Voluntary Action Maidstone, quite often, the first thing that will come up on the search list is a Google Place page. It will come up above your own organisations more often than not. Most of those, if someone finds that and clicks on that, it will probably be blank. because the majority of them have not been claimed by the people that actually could fill in the rest of the details. And it's free to do that. If you click on your Google Place page, when it comes up in the list, filling across the top, it says, "Are you the business owner?" And if you click on that, you can then log in and fill in all the rest of the details. And it basically gives you your online front page without having to have the full website. So it's a really useful tip. I've claimed ours, because we had one as well. And when we did a Google search, it came up above us. Voluntary Action Maidstones came up above VAM Online. So it's worth doing, even if you have got your own website. Just fill it in. It took you 5 minutes. And it gives you that extra online presence. And quite often, because Google is such a well-used search engine, it will come up above your actual website. You can put your website address in it, so if people go into that, they can then link through to your website directly. So don't worry too much about having a double presence, or just having that presence, because people can come straight through to you from that place. Not everyone will have one. I'm told it largely goes on things like the Thompson Local Directory. So if you're listed in something like that, there's a high chance that you'll have a Google Place page. So on the third party's behalf, please claim it, because there are so many clicks that you're probably missing on your website. How do we get the information out to our volunteers? It's all there on the website, but how do they know it's there? How can we tell them it's there? How can we get more interest in the new events that we have coming in on a daily basis? For this reason, we developed an e-newsletter. Now, everyone that is registered with us gets that e-newsletter. And from our website, you can subscribe to it. There's a little box along the side that says you want to subscribe. Every time we get a batch of new events that come in, within 15-20 minutes usually, I can design an email newsletter in the format that's already set up, press send, and it goes off out to them. There's also this clever function in ours where you can time it to go out at a set time. So I might well write it at 10 o'clock on a Saturday night, but I can time it to go out at 8 o'clock on a Monday morning. Or I can time it to go out at Wednesday lunchtime, or Friday at 4 o'clock. And I've mentioned those 3 times because those are the key times that I've found that we get the most response. So it's obviously people when they're starting off the working week, go into emails, find it. Wednesday lunchtime seems to be that optimum time in the middle of the week when perhaps, the week's taken a bit too long and they want to see what else is out there. The other time is 4 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. And they seem to be sort of the real times. It goes direct to people's email boxes. The one problem that we found at the beginning was that because our generic email is from alive.com, so it's a Hotmail inbox, sometimes it automatically gets filtered into spam. So it wasn't hitting people until they managed to check their junk inboxes. But I think we're over most of that problem. And it also contains 3, 4, 5, 6 links back into the website. So it takes them back there naturally. And it gives all of our contact details. So it's basically just joining all of that up with the information that's already available on the website. We do have volunteers that don't have email. And we do still do a postal mail out to all of those volunteers. At the moment, out of the 1,800, I think at the last count it was just under 100 of our volunteers either don't have constant access to email, so don't want that, or just prefer not to. They prefer to have something in the post. And by that way, we do still get a lot of volunteer activity. Where else do people pick up information? When I googled to try and find pictures to use in this presentation, I found a similar picture to this that had all of the social networking sites that were available. And I counted the different number of logos for the social media sites, etc., etc., etc. And there were probably about 50 logos on that page. Now obviously, there is no way on earth that any of us have the time to try and contact people through all of those. But what we have decided to do is still keep on doing the basic stuff that we do. We still print up some brochures, we still have all the information available on the website. I've done the Radio Kent interviews, we've done articles in the local media and around Kent. But to run parallel to that, on the online side of things, we now have our own Facebook page. Used to be called a fan page, but no longer called fan pages, and we have our own Twitter. Facebook. Now, there's a lot of mixed opinion about Facebook. Believe me, I use Facebook for personal use as well as for business use, and sometimes it drives me up the wall because there is so many changes with Facebook that there is a little bit of frustration with using it, but it does work. Last year, we were fortunate enough to have a student with us for 6 months, and he spent a lot of that time helping us work on these and set them up and see what kind of reaction we got. We're slowly developing an audience. It does take a bit of time. We don't have the money to run adverts on Facebook. Don't know if any of you have looked into that, but it costs per person that links on your advert. So there's no way of knowing how many people are going to click on that link. So really there's no way of knowing how much it's going to cost you. But within that, we've got people following us, people liking us. Sounds nice, doesn't it? I've got 106 people that like it. It's not a bit of a challenge to get more people liking us, but the more people that have clicked on our page and shared that information means that the network gets spread out further and further. At the last count, in addition to individuals that like us on Facebook, we've also got a lot of other organisations. So it could be other volunteer centres that are wanting to keep up to date with what we're doing. It could be other charities that we work with that are interested in what we're doing. There's a whole raft of different people that can make contact with you through something like Facebook. What we've found is it's a very quick way to get our information out there. I can get an event come in at 9 o'clock in the morning, by 9:15 it's on Facebook. I can't do the same with getting the information out to all of our volunteers any other way. Not in 15 minutes, unfortunately. Not with the email newsletter. But yes, email would be the next option. But Facebook is usually something that people might sort of be looking at for other reasons, so there's more of a chance for them to come across it. We've used it to update people on new events when they come in. We've used it to update people on other associated information that we think they might be interested in. And there's all sorts of things that it can be used for. And people can share this information with their friends. Quite often if something comes up on my Facebook page that I'm interested in, one click on the share button and you then put that on your Facebook page so all of the people that look at your Facebook page can see it. So the word of mouth that goes alongside just having a presence there really works. We've got a long way still to go with Facebook. It's an ever-changing minefield. Just as we think we've got it sorted, the administration of Facebook change it so everything gets put in a different way. Anyone that doesn't use Facebook, this might be a complete mystery to you, but they've recently changed the way that stories appear on people's wall. So basically, if somebody hasn't looked at your page within a given amount of recent time, it will just disappear and they won't see it. So you need to make sure that everything's sort of kept fresh and that you're putting something new up there that people can participate in on almost a daily basis. We need to add more images onto there. We need to make more of a personal approach. I quite often write things on there that come from me as a project manager. What we're gradually doing is getting our volunteers to write little bits of profiles of when they've done an event, how much they enjoyed it. We're also looking at perhaps having a landing page, as it's called, which means that people have to click on that and get a certain amount of information before they can access all the rest of your information. It's just another way of kind of building up those networks. And also, the other thing that's really important that we do is encourage more conversations and put polls on there. One way of looking at it really is at the moment it acts as kind of a megaphone for me to say lots and lots and lots and lots about what's going on in the organisation. But until the two-way conversation happens, it's not really kind of being as interactive as we want it to be. So we're going to introduce lots of polls, lots more things for volunteers to comment on, and gradually build it up. We're getting there. Twitter. How many of you have got Twitter? 3? Yeah, I had a feeling it might be the case. How many of you have got Facebook, just out of interest? An awful lot more. The reverse of that, we've actually got more people following us on Twitter than we have on Facebook. We had a problem when we first set Twitter up. Anyone doesn't know Twitter, basically, you have your page on there, and you can put in a message. I think it's up to 170 characters. So it really restricts you in what message you can give out. First of all, when we first did it, we had an awful lot of commercial companies just click follow us. So on a daily basis, when we first set this up, we could look at it first thing in the morning and it would look quite neat and tidy. You leave it on your screen for about 25 minutes and we had about another 600 messages coming through. And it wasn't things that we needed to know about, it was just commercial companies that wanted to sort of spread their message. We've narrowed that down. We've now got 253 people following us at the last count, that was last week. But that includes other organisations. Kent Cove, Visit Kent, Volunteering England, Kent on Sunday Leisure, Tunbridge Wells Borough Council, and Where I Live Kent. So there's lots of other interested organisations that are kind of getting the information about what we're doing direct to their inbox every day. As I said, it's 170 characters, so it should be very precise and enthusiastic in the short message that you're putting on there. You can put links to the information that's on the website, and it does abbreviate the links for you, fortunately. You can put pictures on there. There was an awful lot of scope, but it does mean that you have to be kind of really short and snappy with the message you're releasing. Got very good at it now, very good at it. But you can link it back to your website to complete the circle again. And the same as Facebook, within like seconds, the Twitter message has gone out, and it's gone out to all of those people. And for anyone that doesn't know, you can retweet things. So although we might not necessarily have a lot of volunteers on Twitter yet, we do have a lot of organisations that are interested in hearing about some of the things we have. And indeed, within the last sort of 2-3 months, some of the things that we've put on there, directed volunteers to, or said the things that we're doing, have been retweeted by Tunbridge Wells Borough Council, some by some of the Volunteering England staff, some by some of the many agencies that come under the 2012 umbrella, all sorts of people. So you just don't know sort of how wide and far your message is getting out. Where are we going to go next? Well, we've come a long way in quite a short space of time with Facebook and Twitter so far. As I've said, we need to sort of smarten up a lot of those things and make them two-way conversations a lot more than they have been so far. But we're currently sort of looking for future funding about developing a smartphone web browser. So when someone looks at our website, it would effectively look really nice on a mobile phone, as it would do if you looked on it in the internet. We did think about developing an app. There seems to be an app for every single thing that you might want to do in life. There seems to be an Apple app, there seems to be an Android app, there's all sorts of different apps. But basically, through the process of about a 4-hour discussion, we decided that we could spend hundreds of thousands of pounds on doing this. And then, for example, if it was Apple, they have the ultimate say over whether it goes live. So we could spend all this money developing it, they look at it and say, actually no, don't think that's going to go well, and they cancel it. And then you can do nothing with all of that work that you've just spent, all of that money that you've just spent. So we decided not to do that. But going down the sort of the mobile-friendly website route, you can still have the push button on the phone, so people can still access it all that way. And what we're looking at doing, if we can, is get it so that people can click on their phone and volunteer at an event. There'll be if you're already registered, click this, and the information will also come through to us. So you don't have to then secondarily fill this up or anything extra. Smartphone web friendly is one thing, but alongside that, now I'm kind of nearly finished doing the freshers fairs, we'll be setting up a pilot whereby we'll be texting the information to our volunteers. Again, this is mainly going to be young people that this goes to, but we'll be starting a pilot within the next 2 months, and every time a new event comes in, every time there's an urgent push for something, every time there's a sort of a new piece of information they may know about, be able to send them a text message. How successful that would be, we're yet to answer, but it's something that we're looking at starting primarily with students within the next sort of 2-3 months. That was just sort of a quick overview on where we are now. As I say, we have still got quite a long way to go, but it is already making a difference. We did things like separate blogs, we did all kinds of other things, but none of them really took off. We gave them 6 to 8 months. If they didn't work too well, we kind of thought it was best to use our time elsewhere. So we've got to where we are now with Facebook and Twitter. Hopefully our phone thing will come off and our text pilot will carry on all along the website. If anyone wants to look at our website, the web address is there. If you email kenventteam@live.com, that comes straight through to me. That's my email address and telephone number for the office upstairs. We've got a huge project team. There's me, Monday to Friday, and a marketing assistant for 3 days a week, half a day. So if you phone us and no one answers the phone, please bear with us because we're probably out and about somewhere. But if anyone's got any questions or anything, please email me if you don't catch me during the day. Please ring up because Pat can get hold of me really quickly and we'll be happy to provide any information that you need. If there's any event organisers that think that they might have the scope to use us, I know there's sort of many faces